All right, thank you for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed the film. And let me welcome back to the stage the talented cast of Snakehead, Jade Wu, Perry Young. Did we lose the cast all of a sudden? Devon, here they are. And Catherine Jiang, if I'm not forgetting anybody. Oh yeah, there's a missing chair for Evan, isn't there? Oh no, it's all of us. Devon. Sorry, I'm sorry. So we aren't actually going to pass a mic for sanitary reasons, but instead we will be passing little pieces of paper on which you can write your questions, which I will then proceed to read after I'm done asking a few questions to the actors. All right, so when we start at the beginning, Jade, you've been involved with that project for quite a long time. I'm not sure the audience necessarily knows the long journey that was this film. It took quite a while to get it made. So can you tell us a little bit, since Evan can't be with us today?
Yeah, Evan has been researching this for about 12 years. It took him 10 years. It was 10 years of research, passion, and he took it. And look at the credits. This wasn't a village that made this indie film. It was a world. And we created that world. And that world was created by Evan because it was his vision. It was his story idea. And we made it. And we had volunteers coming out of the woodwork to do this. Not because of money, not because of that. It was the passion of the story. We were able to do it, and we did it. And we are going to win. We are not invisible anymore. Look at these credits. Look at these credits.
So I want to ask you about how you got involved, maybe starting with Devon, and I can ask the same question also to Catherine and Perry, how you got involved in the film. If you can speak also a little bit about your characters, how you worked with Jade and Evan on creating those characters and putting them on screen.
Hi, everyone. My name is Devon, and I play Sin. First of all, you guys are so beautiful. Thank you for showing your support tonight with our wonderful film that we finally got the chance to share with you guys after so many years. First, Evan approached me, and he told me, "Hey, Devon, you know, I've seen your work, and I really love for you to play this character, Sin. She's like a badass," you know. And I'm like, "Okay, tell me more. I like it." And he said that she's Vietnamese, and I was like, "Whoa, I'm in. I'm half Vietnamese and half Chinese." So, you know, for me to see an Asian character, you know, being portrayed as Vietnamese. I jumped on it. I was like, "Say no more, Evan, I'm in. Just tell me how I can bring this character to life." And I was able to work with him. You know, we had rehearsals with Shuya and Rambo a lot on set. And we just, you know, we really just want to bring these characters to life. And, you know, as you can see, I think we did a pretty good job. I'm so proud of the film.
And Devon is not really a hooker. She's really a great actress. And I think everyone here is fabulous. They need to be on the map. Yeah. I just want to say again, like I said at the beginning, we have a theatrical release on 10/29 from Samuel Goldwyn Films. We're going to be nationwide. Spread the word, please, please, please spread the word, because the first 2 weeks is a success of this film that was done on financial fumes. This is Hollywood production quality on financial fumes. We need to get butts in seats. We need to get everybody to see this film. It's a great film. I'm proud of it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Catherine?
Hi, everyone.
Merch? You're going to sell merch?
Oh, yes, and we have merch. My idea for merch now, I don't know, Brian and Evan haven't really approved this.
I'll volunteer to be at the booth.
I think there should be Perry burgers. There should be Daimon noodles. There should be Zari dumplings. And we're going to make money on this merch.
All right. Catherine, your turn.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Catherine, and I play Rosie. When I first got on this project, it was a really long time ago. I was, I think, 9. I'm 16 now, for reference. So, I mean, I didn't really know what was going on, but I just heard there was this audition, and I, did the audition, and I got to meet Lucy Liu when she was still on the project. And I was just super pumped to film, And I just remember when we were filming, it was freezing, it was snowing, and there was just so many noises because there was a parade that day. And, everyone was like working really hard. It was freezing cold, and, we fought through it because it's really a passion project. And when we actually got to filming, I think a couple years passed, and I was in 6th grade. I'm a junior in high school now. And, for me personally, I think just seeing everyone work so hard, like Daima or Jade, like she said, financial fumes, we were really working our butts off. But, I'm also really proud of this project. I'm so grateful to be a part of it. Yeah.
Thanks, Catherine.
Hi. Oh, is this on? Yeah. So Daima, I'd rather be like a brand for chicken feet than Burger's chicken feet. So yes, I was approached by Brian Yang, a producer for Snakehead. They had already begun shooting, I think. And he just sent me, he said, somebody recommended you, and so I'm reaching out and see if you're available for this role. And he sent me the script, and I was blown away by the script. It was just amazing to see Chinatown and its denizens come to life in a way that I had never seen from a non-Chinese writer. You certainly wouldn't see the depth of these characters, especially women coming from Hollywood. So I said, heck yeah, sign me in, sign me on. I got on set, and the first thing I noticed was everybody wanted to work on this film. I didn't know whether people were paid a lot of money or none, but everybody seemed to be happy. And my first day on the set was the set that the scene where I got thrown against the wall, right, is choked by a chain. And it was all like, hey, let's just do this, And there was a stunt guy, let's just do this. There was no rehearsal the day before. It was just all done. My first day, I show up, I'm thrown against the wall, I'm choked, I'm bleeding. And then I see Jade walk down the stairway, and I had known Jade for a long time, right, Jade? In the theater?
Like 30 years.
In the theater
But
world.
we've never worked together. And when I saw him on set, I went, oh my God. It's and we're actually working together, and I thought, you are really bloody.
It was so fun to see Jade, and it's this is one of those New York City moments for an actor where there's so many actors, right, and Asian actors, but there's so little work. So to see something genuine and authentic come out for us, it's a gift. So it was just super fun, super meaningful, and to hear Evan say that he moved from San Francisco or LA to live in New York City to be in Chinatown in order to film it, in order to write about it. And so he'd been living in Chinatown for 6 years before he finally started filming it. And I thought that was incredible dedication. And you could see his credits, the writer, director, editor. He held the Steadicam at moments, and it says, for my wife. I mean, to be involved in a project where someone puts all their heart into it, it's like, I want to support this,
He's got a great wife.
Yeah, behind every man. Let me follow up with that. Since you shot in Chinatown, and that's why it's very exciting for us also to show this film in this context. It's a great New York movie. What were the difficulties involved in shooting in Chinatown? Were the locals supportive, considering it's a gangster story? It has to do with organized crime and human smuggling. So what was it like shooting in Chinatown? And I guess I'm going to turn to Jade again and ask Perry after that.
Shooting in Chinatown is a community. And community is like the village making this film, the world making this film. Everyone wanted to tell the story. And yeah, is it telling a bad side of Chinatown? Is it telling the dark side? There is an underbelly of every community in this world, but we don't hear their stories. And that's not the issue. The issue is not the underbelly and the dark side of this community. It's why they are who they are and why they got there. And why they got there is because this is a story of survival. It's a story of parenthood. It's a story of how to take care of your kids. It's a story that goes beyond the dark side of a community that people stereotypically depict. So for me, it was important. For me, when I read the script, I said, we can make something out of this. This is not a community that is going to be stereotypical. This is a community that struggles, that fights, just like everybody else in the world. And we need to show that, because you can be Polish, you can be Romanian, you can be Russian, you can be French, you can be any other ethnicity, but you're going to have the same kind of story. And if you can relate to it, like I said earlier, that's the whole point of making an indie film. You want to impact lives. You want to change lives. You want to anger people so that we will talk about it. Because we are not going to be invisible, because the world is not invisible. Ethnicity is not invisible. Cultural aspects are not invisible.
Thank you. Barry, you want to follow up on?
Well, I would say that filming in Chinatown is amazing because Chinatown is alive. Chinatown is a character, right? When you watch this film, you can see the textures, all the different personalities, the colors of Chinatown. And it was all within a certain facet, of course, within the darker underbelly, like Jade said. But I would also say that for the exigency of these characters, what they needed to overcome was quite empowering. So even though it was a dark story, there's sort of a human, the achievement of at least being,
There's a humanism.
Right.
There's a humanism behind this whole story, and humanism is universal.
And how
it's not culturally or ethnically specific. Humanism is real. Humanism is human.
It was a glimpse of life into how difficult it is for not only Chinese people in Chinatown and women in Chinatown, but how difficult Chinatown is. I mean, seeing this film now during anti-Asian violence, it's like Chinatown will survive. It's been surviving since 1850, right? With attacks against, Chinatown, and Chinatowns all over the U.S. being burnt out. There'd be so many more Chinatowns if they weren't razed. So this is one of the most powerful Chinatowns. It stayed, right? So watching this movie with a backdrop of anti-Asian violence today, it made me just so proud to be part of the struggle. I mean, and how much more work we have to do.
And also, it's a story of survival. You do what you need to do to survive, and people don't know what you need to do and sacrifice to survive. This film shows the extremes you have to go to survive. People don't know that side of the story. They only know the dark side. They only know the stereotypical side. This is why we survive. This is why we will stay strong. And we need more stories like this. And this is why I became attached to the film. Because nobody tells this story. Nobody tells this story on this level of survival. What do you need to do to survive? What are the consequences of your decisions? It's not the decision. It's the consequences of those decisions, and that's this film. It's the consequences of decisions for survival.
Absolutely. I'd like to add to that. I really like what I said in the film. There's a saying that Sin said twice. I don't know if you guys remember, but she said, "You survive your way, I survive mine." These characters have so many layers that you all, I'm pretty sure, can relate to at some point. We don't really know her story, but I'm sure every one of them has their own story. She may not want Rambo to be such a wuss. She loved Rambo so much that she wants a better life for him and her, and so on. Each characters have their own thing about survival that we don't know about, and that's what I love about Snakehead so much. You know, we can go on, and given the circumstance, we have to do what we can to survive. And is that wrong? We don't know. It's kind of like an open-end question, right?
Yeah, and survival, and we all know this. Most of you are immigrants. I know I'm an immigrant, and survival takes sacrifice. And when you sacrifice, what are you sacrificing? Are you sacrificing integrity? Are you sacrificing family? Are you sacrificing yourself to survive? That's what this film is about. It's not the underbelly of Chinatown. It's about survival. It's about how you take care of your own so that you can survive, so we can continue as a community, as a people, as an individual.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you one more question before moving to the audience or reading your questions. You were just talking about stereotypes, and there seems to be a deliberate choice not to use accents in the film. You speak in, you know, like everyday people, really. So I want to ask you about this. It seems to be a conscious aesthetic decision. We were just talking about it a little bit earlier. Before this Q&A. Can you tell us a bit about that?
I don't even know what an accent is. I speak the way I speak. Am I an immigrant? Yes, I'm an immigrant. Do I speak with an accent? No, I don't. Am I asked to speak with an accent in auditions? All the time, and I hate it. But I've gotten to the point where I don't do that anymore. And most recently, I had an audition. And I went in with my natural speak, and I spoke in my natural voice. I spoke in my natural accent. And they said, "Oh, well, can you do it in an accent, please?" And I said, "Sure." So I gave them a Southern accent. They didn't know what to do. I walked out of there, and I said, "Okay, I didn't book that job." 3 hours later, they called my agent. I booked the job.
Good.
And they changed the name to an Asian name. That's okay. It's a step forward.
Great. Barry, you want to speak further to that? You're also in Warrior.
Yeah. Well, actually, I did have an accent, and it's a Brooklyn accent. You know, when I came on, I said, "Time to put on some makeup and go to work." I actually did, but I softened it. That's a little too Queens, you know. But I thought, yeah, you know, this guy is the second generation, kind of a, you know, Chinatown, you know, like snakehead gangster, you know. So he wasn't just off, you know, fresh off the boat. He was like a second generation one. It just gets a little more layer to all the denizens in Chinatown.
Right. Are you often asked? I imagine you take auditions, and Catherine, you're also auditioning for roles. Is that something you ask often? Do like a Chinese accent?
All the time, and I'm so glad Jade, you know, nipped that right away, because I mean, I am proud of all types of Asian accents. I love hearing it, but to amplify that, the characters in one way is, I think it's not right to me. I feel like we all should be colorful, and they should take our talent, you know, as we are. And if we choose not to have an accent, I think we should have the right to, you know, represent ourselves in that way, because we're all a bunch of beautiful Asians, you know, culturally mix everything. So we should be a variety of everything.
Thank you. And so I'll be reading these questions in my European accent. So two questions.
Do a French one.
Yes. Okay. No, not the. Yeah. These are two questions for all of you. What was the most challenging scene or part of the film, and what was your favorite part? So, I don't know.
Most challenging scene was slitting her throat, because I've never killed anyone.
Mind you, that was the first time I met Daima. I was like, oh my gosh, she's already
it
killing
was
me.
like, okay.
Wait a second.
That was pretty gruesome, but that was challenging. I mean, I think with all acting roles, you have to be challenged and you have to go to places that you wouldn't normally go in real life. My most favorite scene was probably the karaoke bar. And that was improvisational. I mean, we actually went there to the karaoke bar on a night of cast camaraderie. And Evan said, hey, this would be a great scene. And so we made a scene out of it. And then I got nervous. And I thought, like, what am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to really drink and, do the scene? And we ended up, it was actually the most intimate scene with Sister Tsi and Daima, which you don't see because there's always this sort of rivalry and mentorship and survival thing. And then you see this intimate moment. And, I had kind of wished that there had been more of those moments. So that was my favorite scene because that was the human side of the character.
Thank you.
My favorite part is kind of similar to Jade, just because we don't get to see that a lot in the film, like the human interaction where we actually have a lot of love in ourselves. I don't know if you guys catch it on screen, but there's a montage of Sin and my character Sin and Rambo, played by Sung Kang, in the aquarium or the fish shop, and he was painting my nails, and we were cuddling like on the floor, probably just catching up on our day or something. So I thought that was really sweet, to show that, because I think it helps to show that that loving side of humanity. My toughest part was actually, honestly, the killing scene. That day was so cold. I had blood in my eyes, fake blood, and it took a long time to, put on the scars. I was wet all day. I was like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna die like any second. It was just really hard, that scene. And, I think we shot, I must have been there. I must have been wet for like hours for like a 2-second scene. But yeah, that was the hardest. But with me, I love the beauty of filmmaking. So that really, really pulled me through that scene. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna make it as if I'm painful. Like I'm gonna give it my all. So yeah, it's really a joy to do it, regardless of how much I hate the scene.
Catherine?
For me, I think my favorite scene to film was the piano scene where Shuya's kind of sitting in the audience and I'm playing. I was playing a piece called Claire de Lune. It's by Debussy, if you guys know that piece. I just thought it was a really nice, intimate moment between the two of them, and it's kind of sad to watch for me, like watching it on on screen. She tries so hard. She wants to be close to her so badly, but, for her daughter's own safety, she really can't. So I think watching that on screen was really powerful. And for the hardest scene to film, I would say would be the chase scene. It was really, really cold, and everyone was freezing, and, I was like, oh, like, person's chasing me, just running around, and just, it was pretty hard, but, it was super fun. And also, I learned how to lion dance in the credit scene. The lion dancing, that was me. That was really fun. So, yeah.
Thanks. Perry?
Did you play the piano?
Oh, yeah.
You actually played that. That's awesome.
Yeah, thanks.
And I would like to say that was like one of my favorite scenes in the movie, where you play the piano and we just watch Sister C's face and absorbing, enjoying your work. That's one of my favorite scenes. Also, a favorite and difficult scene was the scene where, for me, where one of the recent inductees into the spa, was helping giving a service to one of the clients, and she screams, and Sister C runs in, and she throws this thing at him, and he says, "She bit me," And I run in and I said, what the heck? And I grab her hair and pull her out. You know, it hurts to film those scenes because, like, you know, I know what that situation is like. I've seen it, and the massage parlor was a real place, you know, right on Elizabeth Street. And I go in there to film, and it's a basement. The rooms are like built like horse stalls out of cheap plywood. It's red, you know, and it's just low. I mean, it's real. And then to go in there and film that, I felt like, wow, I'm getting something real. This is real. This is not made up. There was not a set designer and not a set builder. And then to go through that scene, it hurts, you know, but I had to kind of like become an actor and fulfill the role and tell the story. So that was a challenge to me, and it was a gift to go like, you know, this is what we want to work against, you know, when we make films. It's like we want to change society. We want to show them the ugliness of it so that we can make it prettier for people. So, you know, it was difficult, and at the same time, it was like, I'm lucky to do this.
Thanks. I think we have time for one last question before we wrap up. A question for all of you. Wonderful work from a member of the audience. What roles haven't you played yet that you would love to play in the future? And that's for all four of you.
I don't think I'll ever be cast as Blanche Dubois. I don't think I'll ever get any roles from that Meryl Streep plays. But I think that's changing. I think it'll happen. The roles that I really love to play are roles that Perry just mentioned, things that are challenging, things that make me go to places that I normally wouldn't live, things that explore all aspects of every human being, because every human being has a dark side, they have a great side, they have a light side, they have a bright side, and no, I want to go to all those places, and if people give me the opportunity, I will jump at the chance. And the thing is you're only good until your next gig. I mean, this is great. I've been very fortunate in my career, but you always are only good until your next gig.
You do great. I'm sure, Devon?
I'm a singer, so I would love to play like a Disney character or something, you know.
The next Disney princess.
Or James Bond. James Bond girl, that's cool too, because my mom always want to see me as like one of those sexy girls. But yeah, I think a singing role would be awesome. I get to, you know, really share my voice and my talent with my fans and the rest of you guys. So I think it would be an awesome opportunity to, you know, to play a fun role, whether it be a villain or a good girl. You know, I think I play a bad girl pretty good. So, you know, keep that coming. I don't mind.
Great.
I also sing. So, same as Devon, I would also love a singing role. I'm still pretty new to the game, I think. Honestly, I think any role would be great for me to kind of explore like different sides of acting and kind of discover myself as an actor. But, you know, I've been playing daughters a lot, you know. So I think it would be great to work on something where, you know, I'm just kind of my own character, you know. But, yeah.
Thanks. And Barry?
And I've been playing dads a lot. So, you know, when I first got into the business, I didn't think that I would actually be doing some really cool stuff. So any role I get is actually, I'm grateful for. And I just got offered to do a role in an independent film coming up as a father figure, where it's a minority within a minority, right? So and I play the patriarchal father that will not let his children change. You know, so it's an intergenerational cultural conflict, and the father is the patriarch that needs to change. And it's a difficult role, but I think it's one of those things where it needs to be told, right? Like these old fathers just won't change, and we need to get out of the way. So I'm happy to play that so that we can get to the greater good. So I take any role that comes with me with gratitude. Yeah.
Thank you all for coming tonight and taking questions from the audience and introducing the film. Thank you very much, especially for the long ride you took.
So October 29th in theaters.
That's right.
Go and tell your people to go and see that. We need butts and seats. We need to make this a success. It'll be good.
Yes.
Thank
you all so much again for coming tonight.
We're taking a quick